life of an asset begins because someone, somewhere, chose for it to exist. However, this has absolutely nothing to do with approval of its right to exist. An asset's life may begin because of a new employee starting and requiring hardware and software to do their job. It may be in response to an IMAC request received by the service desk. IMAC meaning install, move, add, change. In the data center, assets are given life through technical need that supports business requirements. Not all assets managed by IT are traditional computing devices. Some cannot be discovered on the network, and others are managed as commodities. Let's look at a simple example of the life of an IT asset. Meet Joe. Joe just received confirmation that he has been hired and will start work in 2 weeks. In organizations that are mature in business process, confirmation of a new hire by human resources triggers coordinated and organized activities to prepare for Joe's arrival. In organizations where process is immature, those same activities occur, but they are not coordinated nor organized. Activities include requests for hardware and software assets that Joe will need to do his job. But what does Joe need to do his job? Are those assets available in the existing inventory, or do they need to be ordered? If ordered, what vendor is preferred? What manufacturer? What about the model and software versions that should be purchased? The request and order process is hard, but it gets harder because IT assets are not fixed. Technology evolves and improves all of the time, and assets aren't assigned to one person or location for their entire lifespan. The changes that occur with an IT asset can significantly impact an organization's operating budget and the ability to meet compliance obligations if they are not managed. Let's get back to Joe. He's a specialist. His job requires a new laptop that was ordered this week. In mature organizations, when Joe's laptop arrives at shipping and receiving, they'll know it's his laptop and where it should go. In chaotic organizations, figuring out whose laptop has just arrived and what happens next will be an expensive task for the service desk. What about the software for Joe's laptop? Is it imaged already? Does software need to be installed and configured? Are licenses available to cover the installs? What about cloud applications? By comparison, the hardware was easy. It has been almost 2 weeks since HR confirmed Joe's hiring. In mature organizations, Joe will have what he needs on day one. In chaotic environments, Joe may not be productive on day one, and that is not good for the company or for Joe. Joe has been doing great work for 6 months now, and he's been given more responsibility. He's had a few hardware and software challenges, but the service desk has responded well. He needs more computing power now, additional software, and he's moving offices. Joe's asset profile is a lot different than when he started. He wonders who is managing all of this change. Jump ahead 18 months. It's refresh time. Joe is scratching his head because he's only had his laptop for a year and a half. In Joe's experience, refreshes on laptops are usually every 3 to 4 years. The service desk analyst says that the refresh of all laptops is by department and on a scheduled basis. That's the policy. Joe shrugs his shoulders, happy to have the latest and greatest model, and gets back to work. But he wonders, what will happen to his old laptop? Will it be passed on to someone else? Does it get recycled? What about the software installed? Joe wasn't using all of the applications on his laptop, so he didn't need all of them installed on the new one. The analyst tells him that he's just supposed to do the physical inventory so they can order new laptops. He'll be configuring the new one exactly the same as the old one, unless instructed otherwise by the service ticket. Joe wishes he had time to intervene, but he doesn't, and gets back to work. This is a simple example of the life of Joe's assets. The cost overruns and opportunities to save IT dollars are significant, but that doesn't make them easy to manage. Now multiply Joe's scenario by all of the employees at your organization with IT assets. Add the data center and other asset types that are not traditional IT assets, but in scope of IT for management. There are 4 practice areas that impact the life of an IT asset: IT service management, IT asset management, IT configuration management, and IT financial management. The 4 practice areas are limited in value if they stand alone. There are interdependencies as assets move through their life cycle. Stakeholder cooperation across all 4 practice areas is critical. How does an organization begin to manage all of this? Number 1, make someone accountable overall. Number 2, one well-managed step at a time. And most importantly, number 3, do it all on a foundation of policies, processes, and procedures. Without this foundation, managing assets is an expensive juggling act. With policies, processes, and procedures in place and enforced, you will know what you are managing, and investments in COTS, ITAM, and SAM tools will have a framework to run against. Instead of chasing savings that you can't catch, you'll produce savings that fund other strategic projects. Joe is oblivious to much of the life of his assets. When they don't work, he pays attention, but not much beyond that. Yesterday, he received approval to start the innovation project that he's been selling internally for a year. The savings realized from asset management generated funding for his project. To access Rapa's ITAM hardware receive, process, and procedural template, go to rapaconsulting.com/Joe.